What's up, guys? It's me again. The me you don't know, but that shouldn't matter for you to enjoy a good story. So let's get on with the show now, shall we? So, last we left off, Deku had passed out and started emitting some sort of purple mist or smoke or whatever you want to call it that caused people to act in a certain way that got a lot of people hurt and made them act in the same way. Yes, we call these things zombies. Alright. Inhaling that mist or smoke, whatever, is basically the virus. And if you had a quirk, you had a have a resistance to it. So you didn't turn right away. But the quirkless, sad to say, once they get infected, they're infected. And the quirk people just pass it along until they die, and then they turn into a zombie too. Basically, normal stuff like that. Alright, it's just a normal virus, right? And as Deku is passed out, he starts to remember some stuff. He travels into the past about the stuff he went through as he's just dreaming about things that happened a long time ago, and also his 4 5 years out in the free world when his captives released him. And he's remembering how he's been tortured and stuff, and also how he met his first and only friend, and they've been good friends ever since. And let me tell you a story about how these guys met, or should I say, met again. Because it's that girl that Deku ran into when he had first woke up from, uh, uh, what do I call it? When he woke up and he was all lost and alone and covered in snow, and snow was everywhere. And he ran into her in the forest before he was captured, and she had ran away. It's just um, shoot, what's the word? Convenience? No, they just so happened to meet again. The 4 years later, when he was released from his captives, it's a bit of a weird story. Um, so it Deku had uh he was training himself, trying to get himself stronger, because he didn't know how to use his quirk. And, after a while, he forgot he even had a quirk because he rarely tried to use it. He never really exactly trained on it. And he kept telling people he has one, but he doesn't know how to use it. And they wrote him off as quirkless. And basically, Deku just figured out, like, maybe I am quirkless. So he gave up on training it, and instead he started to train his body. But so he would usually go into the woods where there's usually nobody out there, and he would just start training. Just start punching trees and stuff and kicking them all sort of moves. As I said in the first part, he was self-taught. So yeah, let's just say he never really got any better, but, he was uh, better than the average person. Let's just say that he could throw a good punch, but he never really had any combos. How about that? Or just imagine whatever. Just imagine a normal guy that's just a little bit stronger now. That's pretty much it. Okay, but one of those days, what Deku thought was a wild dog went up to him and basically Deku just got all friendly with Deku. And so Deku played with this dog for a bit until someone came running behind him with a knife to his neck and was all like, "What are you doing? Leave my dog alone." And something like that happened. And it kind of scared Deku. But long story short, this person I decided to call Nova basically threatened Deku to leave her dog alone and leave the area basically. And um Deku didn't leave right away and she got irritated by him and yada yada yada. They met a few more times, a bit inconvenient. And one of those times she decides to actually have a conversation with Deku. And that's how they started talking and become sort of friends. Yet they kept meeting in the woods very awkwardly. And she just decided to say, flip it, and actually talk to the guy instead of just threatening him to leave. And so now she kind of helps him train. Like, let me give it a more of a story on her. So this girl Nova is Momo's little sister. Yes, just by 1 year, and she managed to start school early, so where she's in the same class as Momo, and they basically have the same exact quirk. Only difference is Nova doesn't exactly like using her brain. It's just that she's not what's the word I'm looking for? She doesn't like having to think about making stuff. Like she doesn't like to think about making the big stuff as that takes too much time and effort, and she just doesn't like to waste time and too much effort for a little payoff. So she sticks with the little stuff like knives and armor, and she might pop up a shield and sword, but that's like the biggest she'll go. She doesn't like guns because she don't want to kill anybody, but she will point a blade at their neck and threaten them like she will kill them. Though she won't. She's too good for that. She's trying to be a hero after all. So she can't go around killing people, but she's just like Bakugo who will tell you to die without a second thought to it. Okay, so a bit of cold hearted, though she did warm up to Deku after, like, let's say a month of them randomly meeting. So, yeah. Oh, and also she trained her body more than she trained her quirk. So she's more nimble and agile than Momo. So basically, like a legit ninja, though without all the get up of a ninja. You know, now if you watch one of those movies like Naruto where they just throw the thousand shurikens at each other, like where all those shurikens come from? She could actually make sense of it and say they just created them. No. All right, I'm getting off track here. Where was I? Oh yes. Deku and Nova became friends after so long of meeting each other. They never really planned these meetings, it just happened. So, yeah, where to go to from here? Oh, and guess I should say this. Nova, um, the day of the sports exam, Nova sports exam, the entrance exam. My bad. Okay. Nova didn't want to do the recommendation test, so she didn't like want a handout basically. Instead, would that's kind of like free admission right there if you could just pass the simple test. But she decided to take the regular test with everyone else and see if she'd have a chance to get in. As Deku and Nova actually planned to take the test together. Only problem is Deku never exactly showed up, and Nova got worried. So, but she did end up sticking around, and it's like, well, if he's not gonna become a hero, then I'll become a hero for both of us. Pretty much something like that. She hoped he would show up, but deep down she knew that he'd probably never actually make it in. So she just ended up taking the test without him and didn't really give it a second thought of where he could possibly be. So yeah. Now back to the main story of what happened as the entrance exam was ending. Um, uh, Deku did the whole thing. He passed out, emitted a whole bunch of smoke, and things went to chaos. Things got very chaotic. The school went to very high alert as there were people like biting other people, and they did not know what to do. 13 wasn't responding. They had to get a hold of that. They eventually did with Aizawa and Cementos. Um, Thankfully, there was no more thick smoke going around, but the mist was already inside of quite a few people. And as they run away screaming, they're just spreading it to the rest of the town. So basically, no one's safe anymore. And yeah, the school went into lockdown. The gates closed. The UA wall closed. Cementos made it a bit thicker, so someone like I don't know, muscular couldn't just punch through it with a single punch, you know. Oh, and you ever heard of quirked zombies? Yeah, that's a thing. People that turned into zombies could still use their quirks, though they can't control it like 13 did. I mean, couldn't. They became a zombie but couldn't control their quirk as they consumed all that mist and turned into a zombie and went chaotic. And so just imagine a bunch of screaming students and testes running around UA fighting zombies and stuff. Oh, and yeah, the students that were taking the entrance exam, just like in my last one, they are trapped in there now. as yeah, they figured the students would be safer there than out where there's chaos. So those entrance exams are probably the safest place to be. Oh, and they didn't bring out the giant robots yet, so the entrance exam wasn't quite over, but it's over now. Like they can't continue as the giant robots never came out. They're pretty much the giant robots pretty much the first line of defense for those entrance exams now. But let's see. Bit of a time skip when Deku finally wakes up. Now when I say bit of a time skip, it's a huge time skip. As Deku has been knocked out for 2 whole months. Yes, goes a little something like this. So Deku wakes up. He's covered in dust and rubble and all types of crap. As he gets up coughing like, like where am I? What's happening? What's going on? Where is everyone? Oh no, it's happening again. Uh, as he looks around, he sees all the damage and destruction that happened, and he's like, oh no, I slept through another. Oh, my head hurts. What's going on? Is he just looks around? It's as if the the place he was at just got bombed by nukes. As there's just destruction everywhere, destroyed buildings, there's cracks in the wall, and there's these cement walls with these growling people on it. As he's just wondering what's that all about, as he just walks through the ruins of UA, and he just starts wondering where everyone could possibly be. As he continues walking and he looks at one of these growling people on the walls and see that they're wearing a uniform as if they were a student. And he's like, are you human? As it just growls at him, and he can kind of understand what it said, as he's kind of confused because it's just a bit of jumbled words just thrown in there and the occasional brains. it's, it's hard to hold a conversation with these things, but to everyone else, it's just growls and grumbles. But Deku hear actual words, though he can't understand it completely. And so he just continues to walk about as he then comes to an open field where there's just like hundreds of them just walking about doing absolutely nothing, and he just walks right through them like they don't even attack him. It's as if he's not even there, as he just starts to wonder like, is someone he know in this group of brain dead people, as he started to call them brain dead. Yes, the first flock of zombies. Is, he just walks about, looks at he no, he's not just walking about now. He's like, what's the word for it? Exasperated? No, no, no. Um, Kind of got this scared look on his face as he just walks through these not well, he's running through these groups of zombies. Like he's trying to look at each and every one of them, making sure no one he knows is within this group of people. He doesn't realize that they're zombies quite yet, as he can still like hear them just a jumbled mess. Like he can't. They're not speaking full sentences, and they're all speaking at once. So of course he can't hear or understand them quite yet. Excuse me. As that part of his quirk did just awaken, so it's gonna take a while before it completely manifests into him being able to completely understand them and control them. Yes, he will gain that ability, but not quite yet. So, Deku, um, kind of shocked when he found the Hero 13 in a cement block, and he saw that they're still somewhat alive. They're just unable to move or do anything. But Deku decided to just let him be, and then he thought like, is mom okay? As he just got this really scared look on his face as he finally notices that the UA wall is actually like broken, like there's holes in it, and he's looking out at the city that he once knew as they're all also in ruins, and he's like, what happened? As he then takes a good hour running home as he's just looking around, seeing the city he once knew and loved, and just sees destruction. Like there's no sign of life anywhere besides these growling creatures that um, he's starting to understand that they're definitely not human anymore. And then he sees a newspaper just floating about as he picks it up and then reads the headline as it just says zombies everywhere. And it says something about an evacuation, but that part kind of got blocked out. Is it became unreadable is what I'm trying to say. It's basically he's like, okay, so some people might be alive. As he's thinking there might not be a point to return home, as he's hoping that they're gone. But if they're not, then maybe it might be a good idea just to check if they are there as zombies. But if they're not there, then he's going to believe that they are safe, basically. So Deku continues on his journey home. Gee, just how far does this go? How long did it take him to get to UA when he woke up late? I don't remember. But it's gonna take just a little bit longer than that to get back home with all the destruction and chaos that went on. And this is where I'm going to leave it off. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Um, so like if you liked, subscribe if you wanna. Comment down below if you enjoyed or not. Give me some sort of feedback, letting me know I'm doing okay. Cause boy, oh boy. Um, that's it. Bye.